The political divide in Baggy Road Waterworks has deepened, this time over who should be credited with repairing the community's long deteriorating roadway. Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, George Wright, says it was JLP councillor Dawnette Foster who initially answered the residents' calls by laying crushed stones along the waterlogged stretch.
So we are here today in Waterworks, community called Baggy Road, right, where Councillor Dawnette Foster, who would have listened to the cry of the people. There's a bad road inside here, a lot of water, a lot of marl on the road, and she decided to put stones, crushed stones on the road, which she did. Residents love the stones.
However, Wright says he was shocked when on visiting Wednesday, he witnessed a grader clearing away the stones, a move that he says left the road worse than before. The MP says residents are complaining that they need the stones returned, and he is urging PNP councillor caretaker Abigail Malcolm to heed their concerns and return the crushed stones that were removed.
Lo and behold, today, when I come here, I would have seen a grader removing the stones from the road surface and then turn it into mud. As you can see, there's a lot of mud here on the road now. So I am here this morning. The residents are all complaining that they need back the stone. So all I would say to the councillor caretaker to just please the residents of Baggy Road. They need back the stone, and that is what is needed at this time.
While some residents have expressed support for Malcolm, saying she has been working for months to address the issue and had previously brought marl into the area, others have criticized Wright and Foster, claiming their recent presence in the community is driven by the upcoming election. One resident claims that neither Wright nor Foster had visited the area in the past 10 years, allegedly because only PNP supporters live there.
Over 50 years now. Election run, the passport election run. They are not coming here, none at all. None at all. You not coming here. Election start now. That's why to say my MP in the area. Come now. Here away, I'll be a fix it, and then come back in country forward. And then no, people ever since man when you're in charge, right? You never come in here. Nobody win, nobody don't know him in here. Nobody in here don't know him. I think selection now. Just see him around come and a done. And I carry me here. And I never come in and election. Don't go look. I say, boy, I'm making a PNP. Then I pick the road. Don't come in here, do you know?
Mayor of Savlamar, Danry Delancey, who was also present, says the disagreement between the political representatives is unnecessary. He adds that from the municipal corporation standpoint, the priority is ensuring that the roadwork moves forward and meets the required standards. He says both parties are free to carry out the repairs once those standards are maintained.
I've been called here today to look at the situation. I can't say that basically it's much of nothing. We have two persons who are two ladies who are very much anxious about doing something at this time for the benefit of the citizens on this road, living on this road. And therefore, from a municipal corporation point of view, we are saying that we want the road to go through. Whatever the work can be done at this time, let it go through. I am very much aware of the road conditions and what I've been going here and do poorly several times in the past. So we will be saying to both all parties concerned, proceed as long as the work is done to the standard set by the Roads and Roads Department of Westmoreland and South Corporation.
Angela Melville, CVM News.
Thanks so much for staying with us. As the 2025 general election approaches, the question is not simply whether House Speaker Juliet Holness can win again in St. Andrew East Rural. It's whether she can defy the pull of history in a constituency that has never allowed either party to stay comfortable for long. St. Andrew East Rural is the focus of this Numbers Don't Lie with Andre Jebinson.
High in the misty hills of St. Andrew East Rural, a quiet but consequential political drama is unfolding as Juliet Holness prepares to defend her seat for a third term. What appears to be a comfortable margin of victory may in fact conceal a legacy of volatility that could give the incumbent and the JLP pause. In the 2020 general election, Holness, the current Speaker of the House, secured the seat with a decisive lead of 2,355 votes over the seasoned Joan Gordon Webley. She captured 4 of the 5 divisions, Gordontown, Mavis Bank, Dallas and Kintyre, with only Harbourview staying with the PNP. But that narrative was somewhat disrupted in the 2024 local government elections. Though Holness herself was not on the ballot, the voters gave the PNP a 731 vote edge. The JLP held firm in Gordontown, Mavis Bank and Dallas, and the PNP made inroads as Harbourview swung further into their column, and Kintyre, which Holness won in 2020, flipped orange. Holness first entered the fray in 2016, not as a planned candidate but as a last-minute replacement for Alexander Williams. She eked out a win over the PNP's Imani Duncan Price by just 669 votes. That margin, while narrow, was not out of character for the constituency. In 2011, the PNP's Damian Crawford defeated Gordon Webley, who ran under the JLP banner, by a mere 259 votes. In 2007, the JLP's Joseph Hibbert bested the current PNP Vice President Michael Phillips by just 270 votes. Across the past 4 general elections, the average margin of victory has been a slim 5.2%. Exclude the 2020 election, and the margin shrinks to a hair-raising 2.1%. Since Jamaica's independence, the PNP and JLP have won the seat 7 times. Now, as Holness seeks to complete the hat trick, she faces a fresh challenge in the form of Patrick Peterkin, a lesser-known figure. The stakes are heightened not only by the political arithmetic, but by the very nature of the constituency itself. Sprawling and mountainous, St. Andrew East Rural is one of the largest by square mileage. It is home to farmers whose livelihoods are threatened by landslides and who often feel left behind by urban-centered policies. Andre Jebinson, CVM News.
The opposition People's National Party is again vowing to address long-standing issues affecting the people of Northern Trelawney, to include housing, water and roads. During a recent party meeting in the constituency, both opposition leader Mark Golding and caretaker Dr. Wickham McNeil laid out plans intended to bring real change if elected.
PNP President Mark Golding says he's planning to build 50,000 houses over the next 5 years, and he will also repurpose the original vision of the National Housing Trust by providing and financing housing for ordinary Jamaicans.
We are identifying public lands which are not suitable for agriculture that we will make available to the housing entities in the government to build housing for the people, and we are not going to include the value of the land in the price of the house. So when you get one of those houses to buy, the day you buy that house, you will be $2 to $3 million richer because you're not paying for the land value that you're getting in the price of that house.
Them always say that water is life. Well, if water is life, Trelawney is on life support system because the water not good in a Trelawney.
Dr. Wickham McNeil, PNP caretaker for North Trelawney, also voiced concerns about water issues in the constituency. He's accusing the government of making no water provisions for the people of Trelawney. This, as he notes, the government of Jamaica's recent contract signing to channel water from the Martha Bay River into other parishes.
You cannot be taking the water from Martha Bay, and the people of Trelawney don't have water. You must take care of the people of Trelawney as well.
Dr. McNeil also addressed the issue of bad roads. He explains the roads are being partially fixed by the government, who then advertise them as fully paved roads.
You can't build Jamaica like that. When we get into power, we're going to fix the roads properly. We're going to do it in a concerted effort. We're going to make sure that the roads are done, that drainage is put in place, and maintenance is put in place so the roads would last. This is the government of PR and marketing. Them fix a little piece of road, and then them take a picture and say, road a fix.
Carla Ramdeen, CBM News.
Project that started 2 years ago by former Minister of Transportation and Mining and Member of Parliament for North East Manchester, Audley Shaw, to expand the Manchester Transport Centre is now back on the agenda with the current Minister, Daryl Vaz.
Behind me that adjoins the bypass that is owned by the municipal corporation. My understanding is that the municipal corporation did a plan in relation to expanding the park, improving the facilities, which was submitted to the Ministry of Local Government. I am hearing now for the first time, so I have requested the municipal corporation to send me a copy of it to the Transport Ministry so we can see how we can collaborate.
This expansion is expected to reduce traffic congestion, an issue that has affected the taxi operators for years. Vaz suspects the delay in the past was linked to a lack of funding and resources.
I also understand that aside from the municipal corporation owning the land, there's also another piece of land that is privately owned that we would seek to acquire to make sure we get the maximum space that we need. And I suspect that the municipal corporation is working with that, and I'm going to ask the Transport Authority also to make some checks with National Land Agency and see how we can do it. So I hope in a matter of a short period of time to be able to outline the vision and the plan and the timelines for this upgrade of Christiana.
Minister Vaz also notes the transport centre will be renamed in honour of retired MP Audley Shaw.
Parish and the constituency, well as the longest serving member of Parliament in the history of Manchester, deserves recognition.
Giselle Mills, CVM News.
The government of Jamaica has welcomed the European Parliament's acceptance of the recommendation of the European Commission to remove Jamaica from its list of high-risk third world countries with deficiencies in their anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism regimes. This development follows last year's removal of Jamaica from the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, listing. We hear more from Crystal Williams.
Just hours after the decision to delist Jamaica from the list of high-risk third world countries, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Kamina Johnson-Smith gave a special virtual address to the European Parliament. She expressed appreciation for the EU's acknowledgement of the work of the government of Jamaica in strengthening the country's anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing systems.
We cannot overstate the significance of this decision, which is a clear indication of the Parliament's willingness to respond positively to the needs and interests of small vulnerable economies like Jamaica's. And we thank the parliamentarians for this decisive action with exponential implications for our economies and accordingly our citizens. Ultimately, this places us in a better position to continue working purposefully towards achieving our national development goals.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness also welcomed the European Union's decision.
Now, while the European Union has recommended to the European Parliament via its delegated regulation of June 2025 that Jamaica and Barbados be delisted, this has not fully materialized as different groups in the Parliament, for reasons unrelated to the domestic situation in Barbados and Jamaica, have issued motions that will block positive action in this regard. We urge a reconsideration of this posture.
Hidden in all of this is CARICOM's strident appeal to the European Union to exercise a greater discretion that countries that have complied through great sacrifice, discomfort, and cost to the people of a developing country, that greater discernment and consideration be given to our circumstances, and that we are not lumped in with everyone else or having to wait for an extended period of time before relief can be given to us.
The European Union's decision to ease due diligence requirements on Jamaica is expected to boost cross-border financial flows, reduce compliance burdens, and strengthen the country's investment climate. This indicates increasing confidence in its financial system. In a later interview, Minister Johnson Smith recalled that Barbados was the other Caribbean country similarly affected. She also gave sentiments on the explanation given by Dr. Holness.
The decision by the European Parliament follows both joint and separate sustained advocacy efforts by Jamaica and Barbados at all levels. Even as recently as yesterday, our call for delisting was again repeated by Prime Minister Holness in his closing session as chair of the 49th meeting of CARICOM heads of government. We are so very pleased that in the end, a position was taken that recognizes the reforms that we have made to our financial systems and regulatory frameworks, a position aligned with last year's positive FATF decision. This is a signal of broad-based trust in Jamaica's systems.
While the delisting is a milestone, the government of Jamaica continues to emphasize the importance of maintaining momentum in financial governance through continued efforts to safeguard against illicit financial activity. Crystal Williams, CVM News.